You are listening to the Embrace the Mud podcast, where we dive deep into the beautiful messiness of life and relationships. This is the space where we explore how to align with your authentic self, build real connections, and navigate life's challenges with grace, resilience, and purpose. I'm your host, Dara Posner, an alignment strategist, blogger, and podcaster, here to guide you on your journey to living a life that's truly yours. Hi, and welcome back to the Embrace the Mud podcast. I'm your host, Dara Posner, and today we're diving into one of the most harmful beliefs that we can hold, the belief that something or someone should be different than they are. This idea, as common as it is, can keep us stuck in patterns of frustration, disappointment, and suffering. So today we're going to talk about why this belief is so damaging and how letting go of it can help us experience more peace, acceptance, and alignment in our lives. I'll also share how you can begin to notice when this belief creeps into your thoughts and offer tools for aligning with the truth of your reality. So let's dive in. Let's start with the core idea here. When we believe something or someone should be different than they are, we're setting ourselves up for pain. Now, this doesn't mean we don't have desires or preferences or that we tolerate being treated poorly, but it's about the mindset of constant resistance to reality. Have you ever found yourself thinking, if only my partner would be more affectionate, or I should be further along in my career by now, or this situation shouldn't be happening to me? It's so easy to slip into this kind of thinking, but when we do, we're essentially arguing with reality. We're saying that what isn't acceptable, and that leads to frustration and suffering because, let's face it, reality is happening whether we like it or not. One of my favorite quotes is from Byron Katie. She says, "When you argue with reality, you lose, but only 100% of the time." And it's true. We think our resistance to reality will somehow make it change, but all it does is create more internal tension. The situation doesn't change, we just suffer more. When we live in the mindset of things should be different, we're constantly dissatisfied. It becomes a loop, always wanting things, people, or circumstances to change before we can feel peace or happiness. But the truth is, we're missing out on the present moment. We're missing out on the people right in front of us because we're too busy wishing they were different. This belief is especially harmful in relationships. When we think our partner, friend, or family member should be a certain way, we're rejecting them as they are. We're not accepting their humanity or the reality of who they are right now. And that puts a wall between us, leading to disconnection and frustration. The relationship becomes a battleground of unmet expectations. This doesn't mean we never ask for our needs to be met or set boundaries. It's more about recognizing that people are who they are. Wishing them to be different, to behave differently, or to have a different nature doesn't change them. It just creates more dissatisfaction for you. So what's the alternative to constantly thinking things or people should be different? It's alignment with the truth. This is about seeing things as they are rather than how we wish they would be. When you align with the truth, you're letting go of the need to control everything around you. You stop fighting reality and instead start moving with it. You see people for who they are, situations for what they are. And instead of getting stuck in the frustration of wishing it were different, you focus on what is within your control, your own thoughts, actions, and responses. This doesn't mean you settle for less or tolerate bad behavior. It means you let go of the emotional resistance to what's happening and find peace in the present. When we stop trying to control everything and everyone, we actually gain more control over how we feel. The first step in shifting away from this harmful belief is simply noticing when it creeps in. Pay attention to your thoughts, especially in moments of frustration or dissatisfaction. Ask yourself, am I believing something or someone should be different than they are? You'll be amazed at how often this belief shows up in small ways throughout your day. Maybe it's thinking your partner should know what you need without you asking. Maybe it's wishing your friend wasn't always late. Maybe it's feeling like your life should be moving faster in some area. Once you start noticing the pattern, you can begin to interrogate those thoughts. Ask yourself, is this true? Am I expecting something that's realistic, or am I resisting what is? When you catch yourself thinking they should be different, take a moment to step back and question that thought. Is it based on reality, or is it based on your desire for things to be a certain way? Let's say you're feeling frustrated because your partner isn't as emotionally expressive as you'd like them to be. You might think, they should be more open with me. They should be more affectionate. Now ask yourself, is this thought serving you? Does it align with reality, or are you imposing your own expectations onto them? It's one thing to communicate your needs and ask for certain behaviors, but it's another to believe that someone should be different than they are at their core. When we release that expectation, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and open up space for deeper understanding. Acceptance is the key here. And I want to be clear, acceptance is not the same thing as resignation. It's not about giving up on your desires or tolerating poor behavior. It's about recognizing the reality of what is and finding peace within that. When we accept someone for who they are, we allow space for growth, both for ourselves and for them. We can still communicate our needs and ask for change, but we do so from a place of acceptance rather than resistance. This is where true connection and love can flourish. If we're constantly trying to change someone, we're essentially telling them, you're not enough as you are. But when you accept them, when you can create a space where they can feel free to be themselves and safe to do so, in that safety, real change and growth can happen, if that's what's needed. Let me share an example you might relate to. Imagine you're in a job where you feel undervalued, and you keep thinking, my boss should appreciate me more. I should be given more responsibility. These thoughts create frustration and resentment, but the truth is, you don't have control over how your boss behaves or what they value. Instead of believing things should be different, you can align with the truth of the situation. Maybe the truth is that this job isn't where you can grow and it's time to move on. Or maybe the truth is that your boss operates differently and you need to advocate for yourself in a new way. Either way, accepting the reality helps you see your options clearly and make empowered choices. When we stop expecting things to be different than they are, we experience a profound sense of peace. Suddenly, the tension eases and we can approach life with more clarity and grace. This doesn't mean we stop striving for better outcomes for relationships, but we stop fighting reality. We stop exhausting ourselves by expecting people or circumstances to conform to our desires. Instead, we focus on what we can control, our own actions, our boundaries, our choices. So why does any of this matter? This shift from resistance to acceptance matters because it transforms how we navigate life. It helps us move from a state of constant tension and dissatisfaction to a state of flow and ease. When we let go of the belief that something or someone should be different, we open ourselves up to more authentic connections, clearer decision-making, and greater personal freedom. We free ourselves from the grip of unrealistic expectations and start to live more fully in the present. So, the next time you find yourself feeling stuck or frustrated, take a moment to ask, am I believing something should be different than it is? If the answer is yes, start to examine that belief. Look for the truth. Remember, aligning with truth doesn't mean settle for less. It means accepting reality and making empowered choices from there. Acceptance brings peace, clarity, and the space to move forward. And when we embrace what is, rather than fight against it, we find a deeper sense of freedom. Do you find yourself questioning the depth of your partner's love for you? Wondering if you're just asking for too much or if you've chosen the right person? I get it. I've been there too. And that's why I created the No More Unmet Needs Workbook, your budget-friendly guide to achieving consistent emotional satisfaction in your relationship. In the face of unmet needs, it's really easy to unknowingly perpetuate the cycle. But the good news is it's simpler than you think to break free and experience the fulfilling connection that you deserve. Drawing from my personal journey and from my experience as a coach, I've honed a proven strategy over the years, and now I get to share it with you. In the 4-step, 16-page workbook, you will be able to eliminate any doubt or confusion about your needs, get clear about the difference between your core needs, actionable needs, and your desires, and communicate your needs like a pro by employing a simple yet powerful template to express your
needs anytime with clarity and confidence. If you are ready to bid farewell to unmet needs and the confusion surrounding them, then the No More Unmet Needs workbook is for you. And as a podcast listener, you get to enjoy 10% off by putting in the discount code GOODLOVE, all one word, GOODLOVE. Just head over to mudcoaching.com/shop to download your copy of the No More Unmet Needs workbook today.
If you're struggling with these types of beliefs or feeling stuck in your current situation, I'm here to help. You can schedule a 90-minute strategy session, and we can work together to uncover what is keeping you stuck and help you align with the truth in your life. You can go over to mudcoaching.com or click the link in the show notes for more information. Thank you for joining me here today on the Embrace the Mud podcast. I will be back very soon with another episode for you. In the meantime, just remember to keep aligning with reality, seek the truth, and make empowered choices from there. I'll see you soon.